I'll now call the meeting to order, 7 p.m. here at Macadavic Place, St. George. Good evening and welcome to the October 2024 regular council meeting for the Eastern Charlotte Council. This is our 22nd official council meeting for Eastern Charlotte. We have 19 more to go for the end of this council's term. I welcome all those that are attending here tonight and those that are watching us on television or on their cell phones. I also want to welcome CHCO for doing the show tonight. We have Florence Mitchell in the back. She does all the switching. And we have Natalie Sturgeon, who used to work for Global TV. Now she works for CHCO now, and she's doing the camera tonight. So welcome to Eastern Charlotte tonight. I also want to introduce Amy Carter. Amy Carter's right there. Amy, just want to wave to the people. Amy's going to be doing the minutes tonight. Chris is away this week, so Amy does a very good job for Eastern Charlotte. So I want to thank you for doing this tonight, and we really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, in just over 3 weeks, it will be November the 11th, Remembrance Day, a day we remember the sacrifices of hundreds of thousands of Canadians who have fought in our country's wars. Before we begin tonight, I feel it appropriate to have a moment of silence to remember those that served their country and those that have paid the ultimate price so that we can all of us can live in a safe, free, and democratic country. Join me in a moment of silence now. Thank you. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row. That marks our place, and in the sky, the lark still bravely singing, flies scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, we felt dawn, we saw sunset glow. We loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. This poem was written during the First World War by John McCrae, a Canadian. The day before it was written, one of John's closest friends was killed and buried in a grave decorated with only a simple wooden cross. Wild poppies were already blooming between the crosses that marked the graves of those who were killed in battle. This poem's popularity helped Canada and several other countries adopt the poppy as the flower of remembrance. And council, I believe, are all wearing their poppies tonight. So. Number 2 tonight, I'm going to ask for the adoption of the agenda, and I'm looking for a motion to adopt the agenda tonight. Councillor Lee, and seconded by Councillor McQuarrie. Question or comment on the agenda tonight? All those in favor of the agenda signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 3 is conflict of interest. Anybody who wants to declare a conflict of interest may do so now. If not, we move ahead to adoption of minutes of the previous council meetings. We have a few we have to pass tonight. September the 18th, 2024 is a regular meeting of council. I'll be looking for a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of September the 18th, 2024. Pardon me? Councillor Tidd, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 4B, September the 24th, is a closed meeting of council, and I'm looking for a motion to adopt those minutes. Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Lee. Thank you. Question or comment on 4B? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 4C, October the 1st, another special meeting of council. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of October the 1st. Councillor Thompson, thank you. Seconded by Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. October the 1st, we have a closed meeting of council. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of October the 1st, 2024. Councillor Lee, second by Councillor McQuarrie. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. October the 8th, 2024, a closed meeting of council. I need a motion to approve the minutes for October the 8th. Okay, I got Councillor Tidd, seconded by Councillor Lee. Councillor Lee will be doing the seconding on that. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Just for the public, just to let the public know, starting next week, council has decided to open up all the meetings that council will be having. So usually we'll put the agenda out a few days before the next Tuesday, but those meetings will be open to the public as of starting next week. And just to remind that it will be run by like a regular meeting. There will be no participation from the audience, but the audience are glad to be there, same as we are here tonight. Be run the same way. Business arising out of the minutes. Number 5, anything there? I don't think. Delegations, there are none. Number 7 is department reports. I'm going to call on Jason Gadet for our CEO. And Jason, you got the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship. The General Government Report for the month of September 2024. Water and wastewater for Black Sabre. Connors Brothers, owners of the water supply for Black Sabre, are planning a repair of the water line, distribution line, October the 25th through the 26th. It was previously scheduled for October 18th through the 19th, and have advised that flushing and cleaning of the water reservoir at the farm is now planned for the November 15th, 16th. Municipal crews will complete an early round of flushing in the next 2 weeks. I think we're lined up for this Sunday, and as well as a second flushing once the farm reservoir is cleaned. Early estimates of desludging of the wastewater lagoons in Black Sabre put the project right now is estimated around $450,000. We'll be going to the province to seek some support on some grants to complete that work. Water and wastewater for St. George. Change of area and water exploration is now focused around the areas of exit 56 and in Canal. I'll just say as well, during much the same with their water exploration for Black Sabre. They're still continuing to look for water exploration and around the road down into Beaver Harbor, Penfield Road, and around the Jackson Woodland area. It's still ongoing. Finance, the auditor has finalized the annual financial statements, and delivery of statements to council is expected in late October, likely more early November, with statements starting the early work on compiling of budgets. However, we did get news that unfortunately the province is unable to release the assessment figures for 2025 budget until a cabinet is convened. So we'll be delayed on getting that information. Parks and Recreation, Canal Beach and the Splash Pad have closed for the season. Both sites will be winterized in October. Housing and Development, despite ongoing delays, housing development remains in pending status, such as an apartment complex on Brunswick Street, Habitat for Humanity Home, which is also nearby on Brunswick Street, Project Village Housing in Black Sabre, still moving ahead with 2 building apartments, and very likely delayed until the spring of those apartment buildings. While the old 260 building in Black Sabre behind Stella Maris, building renovations are expected to pull a permit this month of October. Signage municipality received funding from the province, $45,000 with part of the reform funding, of which 75% is earmarked for replacement of signage for municipal parks, buildings, and fire halls. Remaining funds will be used to make improvements to rural fire halls, such as drainage and automatic doors. Roads, paving of Manor Road was actually done this week. Raina Street in Black Sabre is coming up for being paved. The culvert replacement and paving of Route 176 going in Black Sabre, the Farm Field culvert, is scheduled to start this week. And additional quotations are being compiled for the gas tax fund planned, which we'll be looking at in January to do additional paving in the streets of St. George and Black Sabre. And the provincial municipal highway partnership is on the agenda for tonight as well. So that's for the provincial roads. Sidewalks still legally awaiting contractor work to install a new crosswalk at Fundy High School and a crosswalk island at the corner of Lateet Road in Mount Pleasant. And the YMCA, an updated cost of childcare building in St. George has now dropped down to $2.08 million. However, a request for quotes from local builders has been requested. We've yet to receive anything at this point, so we're anxiously awaiting that. And for fire department, meeting with the fire underwriters the last week of this month to go over the updated fire underwriters survey. That's for general government.
Great, thank you, Jason. I'm going to go to council at this point and for question or comment on that report. No. Okay, we're going to move ahead and reports of the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission. And tonight we have Mr. Alex Henderson in the house. Thank you. You got the floor, Alex.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Council. Tonight's report will be a little bit brief. With regard to planning, we've been working with a housing developer in Blacks Harbor to navigate their subdivision requirements and to look at various options for them to move forward. So we expect that will be resolved in the next little while. We've also been answering questions from CMHC officials regarding your Housing Accelerator Fund application. This is good news, I think, because that means that your application is going to the next stages of review. So we're hopeful and fingers crossed. With this report, there was the minutes of the last approved PRAC meeting minutes included. But what was not mentioned of this report is the rezoning for the food truck on the way to Blacks Harbor in Penfield. That application's been received, so it's been paid for. So it's likely that will be something you may have on your next November agenda for council. So the next steps would be consideration of public hearing and the whole process for legislative adoption. It's not a foregone conclusion. You can still fully debate it at council. With development, there's been 74 building or development permits issued year to date. You're just at $5.25 million new construction value added. 6 new permits in the last month. There's been no new variances or terms and conditions application in the last month, but you have had 21 subdivision plans approved year to date with 2 new in the last month. So that's a total 43 new building lots added year to date. There's been 18 zoning confirmation letters issued, 2 new in the last month. No new deeds or exemption documents approved for land registry, and no new sign permits issued in the last month. Year to date, you've had 16 new homes permitted, and 2 new have been approved for construction in the last month. With regard to enforcement, there's 55 enforcement files that are still in progress, and 56 that have been closed since we've been tracking. So going back to January 1st, 2023. 1 new in the report. So when it's closed, it means that a property's been brought into compliance with your bylaws. If there's any questions, happy to take them. But thank you, Your Worship.
Great. I'll go to council at this point. I see all of them shaking their head. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take it easy going back home. Lots of deer out there tonight. At this point, I'll go to the 7C, which is the fire report, and I'll call on Councillor Thompson for this.
For the month of September 2024, we had a total of 33 calls, and in comparison to September 2023, there was 69. Thank you.
Any questions or comments on that? Councillor Dedorakis, you're first.
It's more of a comment. It's has nothing to do with the report. I know that the fire department in St. Andrews tonight is hosting a information session to recruit new members. We know it's crucial to have a recruitment process in place. So I just want to know where we are with that and what the municipality can do to help.
I'll speak on that first, and then I'll go to Jason. I know that our fire chief is in attendance with that tonight, and down there he's keeping an eye on how they're doing it, and they also at the same point too. Our areas are fairly close as far as the borders, and so he'll watch and see if somebody maybe in the Boca-Beck area or a little bit further out shows up to that meeting. We can end up taking them in our area as well too. So that's one of the reasons he's there tonight too. So he's taking a couple of shorts with him too, trying to get him to join. But I'll go to Jason on this.
It's a good point. Just with downwards trend of people, I guess, coming out and being a part of, community groups. We see that as well. But, fire department is a crucial service and run primarily by volunteers. So I'll certainly ask the chief to include that with next month's report and see what there is. There is a lot of active, fire prevention month came by. It was out in the schools doing a lot of promotion. But, even doing like the 50-50 draws that they're doing, the Chase the Ace, they've been getting out in the community trying to show themselves and be present. So I'll certainly ask them to add some comments to that next month.
Yeah, it's not an easy volunteer position to take on. When I was on the fire department back in the early 80s, you just joined and that was it. And now you have to have a lot of training and stuff. You have to, a lot of hoops you have to go through. So it's tough to get volunteers to go through that process, but once they do, it is rewarding. You're helping out your community as well. You are putting your life on the line every time that call comes in. So it is a big thing for our community. So if anybody's out there tonight wants to join, I see David, you're used to be on the department too. So you're welcome to join back again. So anybody else out there, or talk to your friends, be more than happy to have them join the fire department. At this point, I'll go to 7D, which is the Public Works Report, and I'll call on Councilor McQuarrie. I didn't quite hear you. You have to speak a little louder. I'm deaf.
Make a motion to accept the reports as written.
You're making a motion, so I need a seconder if you're making a motion. A second, Councilor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed. 7E, Parks and Recreation Report. Do we have one of those tonight? Councilor Hatt? I'll go to you.
I make a motion that we accept the Parks and Recs as it's written here.
Okay, I need a seconder for that. Councilor Tid, question or comment on on that motion? All those, question, Councilor Diderakis.
It's about the fencing for the basketball courts. Can we reuse the fence? Can we reuse the fence that was taken down
Yeah.
and modify the tops?
Yeah, I spoke to both with the Public Works foreman for St. George and Parks and Rec foreman, and both of them say that that can be done. So we will be putting back up the posts, just a matter of clearing off some time. And now that we're kind of getting into that fall period, we'll have a slow period before winter and get it done then. So yeah.
Councilor Hatt.
Your Worship, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Jason. I know there was an email that went out and asked of bringing bleachers over here along the side of the road so people not stand in the middle of the parking lot. Is that going to be considered, or?
I think just a matter of trying to find a spot for those, because they are large ones, and on that end, they did a slope down quite a bit. So I think the thought was having actual basketball ones that are the small, like 2 or 3 steps up, and that's about it. But we could do some modifications to the ones that are down there at the Day of Venture Center, but the ones at Day of Venture Center are pretty large to be up there. So we can take a look at it and see if it needs to be leveled, but just how to fit them into fencing is going to be the big issue.
Yeah, to me, it's a shame to put fencing the whole way around when,
Yeah,
no place there's been several asks of some type of seating down the side of it. So
Yeah, exactly.
I would ask that we consider that.
So we'd have to probably modify one of the ones from Day of Venture Center, cut it in half or something to.
Yeah, or if we have to flatten it out material. I mean, there's sometimes
Yeah.
kids here, 30, 40 kids in here playing, so it doesn't
Yeah.
take much for a bench to be full.
Yep.
Anything else? No. I'm going to committee reports at this point, and Councilor Hatt, do you have a report tonight, or? Yeah, I'll go to you first, and then Councilor Diderakis, you're next. Oh, I thought you were waving your hand. I'm sorry. No.
So, splash pad and canal, as we heard, it was closed. The water at the community gardens has been shut down as well, so I would think everybody's probably done gardening by now. So, museum is open in Blacks upon request. So the standard hours have been closed up, but if you would like to get there, just reach out to the municipal office, and I'm sure we can make that happen for anybody that would like to go in after the season's been closed down. The arena has opened up. It was a successful startup. Great job by everyone. I know a lot of public works on both sides. St. George and Blacks Harbor helped with us getting the ice in. They had one small brine leak this year, so pretty minor impact to start up. So it's running, and everything's been running good down there. So the YMCA is hosting lots of events and activities. Once again, if you go on the YMCA page, that's for this area, they have everything posted there weekly, and I think a lot of times monthly. They have a monthly calendar there. So the veteran banners are up in St. George and Blacks Harbor, and then obviously it's fall and Halloween events. So in St. George on Just give me a second here. I thought I had my notes right up, but I was asked by the home and school to add this. So the trunk or treat for the St. George Elementary home and school will be October 25th, and it's here at the Macadavid Center out in the parking lot. It'll start at 6 p.m. and it's $5 a child. So they're hoping to get a record number of trunks for the treating event for the kids. So I would ask that everybody that has little goblins and kids that want to come and have some candy, that's always good. So Remembrance Day ceremonies will be held without Eastern Charlotte here. They'll be announced and follow Parks and Rec page or even Eastern Charlotte's Facebook page. So the repairs are continuing on the ice entrance doors. I know there's been a slew of concerns and complaints that have come forward with that. I see that there is some temporary stop gaps been added, literally no pun intended, stop gaps, so puck can't go through. So that's good. So anyway, we'll have to get a full-time plan of what we're going to do there as the season continues. So the entrance at the Macadavid Center was all painted and repaired. Washrooms, closets, doors, everything looks great out here. So a few items to take notes of. Sunday afternoons, lots of people asking on social media and sending messages. Pucks for sticks, so $3, and it's $12.45 to $1.45, followed by public skating from 2 to 3:45. So that's on Sunday afternoons. All proceeds are going to go to the Blacks Harbor School. So they're running the program for us. Every year we kind of donate ice time and let people run a program there. So they're graciously going to look after that for us again this year. So that's great. And Tuesdays, there's free skating from 2 to 5. And Thursday, there's pucks and sticks for under 13 from 3 to 4. And 13 and older is 4:45 to 5:15. So once again, you can go on the Parks and Rec page and see all that. That's posted every week on there. This coming Friday from 2:30 is the fall paint and sip with Kimberly Oliver. There is limited spaces available, so you can register online or call the municipal office. And I know it's not even Halloween, but Christmas kickoff. So Christmas Kickoff Festival is starting on November 28th to December 1st. The theme this year is a song of Christmas, songs of Christmas. And as I say many, many times, please check the Parks and Recreation page, Facebook page. And if you haven't hit like, please hit like. And that way there you'll get notifications on everything that's up to date. Also would like to thank Eastern Charlotte Fire Rescue for all their service and including going to each elementary school throughout Eastern Charlotte for fire prevention training. It's greatly appreciated, and I love seeing the posts on Facebook. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Head. Another thing that the fire department does, so that's great. I'm glad you made the statement about that. There's no questions or comments on that. I'll move to the financial statement tonight. I'm looking for a motion from council to accept the financial report for September 2024. Deputy Mayor is making that motion, seconded by Councilor McKay. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Page. Old business. Tonight we have the economic development. This one was asked to come back to council tonight. It's a 3-municipality cooperative agreement. I just want to remind council, before you make a motion tonight, there is a meeting next Wednesday evening in St. Andrews at 6:30 for all the councils have been invited to that, from St. Stephen's, St. Andrews, and here, to go there and be able to ask a lot more questions on this. So I would suggest tonight that if you're going to do anything with this tonight, is probably table this until next month, but I need a motion from the floor for that. So I need a motion. Councillor Thompson, can you make the motion? Because I don't want to put the words in your mouth.
I move that council table the proposal to economic development to January's meeting, the 15th of January, 2025.
We have a motion to move this to January. We need a seconder for that. Okay, I do see hands. I saw Councillor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Dederakis.
Yeah, I attended the UMMB meeting last week, and I had the opportunity to chat with other counselors from St. Stephen and in St. Andrews, and they're ultimately going to be part of this agreement too, and they have questions. So it would be nice that we're all on the same page. I don't know about with the motion that Councillor Thompson put forward until January. I don't know about waiting until then, given that we have to have a budget in motion, like we have to have a budget prepared by December, I believe. So I'm not in agreement to waiting until January, but I am in agreement for doing it next month.
So you'd like to make a motion to change that? Is that what you're saying, or you just, that's just your thoughts in your head?
Oh,
You gotta
I mean,
tell me what you want.
I think the current motion that's in place is that Councillor Thompson put forward was to table this proposed economic development cooperative agreement until January. So that's the current motion that's on the table.
That's
But
correct.
I'm
Yeah, that's
saying
good.
that, I'm just, in my comments, I'm saying I don't agree with waiting that long until January.
But you're not making a motion to a certain date?
I guess, okay, I can make a new, can I do
I
that?
have to.
All right.
Once you do that, then I'll look for a second.
Okay, sure. I'll move that, that council table the proposed economic development cooperative agreement until November.
November, okay. I need a seconder for that.
There's already a motion on the floor.
I know, but I'm gonna ask, I can revise
had
this,
to do that
because
first,
there's a better word to say it. So and then we'll come back to the vote afterwards. So I need a seconder for that.
I'll second it.
Second, Councillor Hatt's gonna second that. Okay, now we're on this motion here, okay? Question or comment on the second part of this? Yeah. Okay, Councillor Lee.
I'd just like to say that I do agree with Councillor Dederakis that we should probably move that back to November, maybe. That's my
Good.
thoughts on
Any
it.
other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of this part of the motion signify by saying aye. This is moving
Aye.
this is moving it to November. All those in favor say aye.
All right,
Contrary?
Nay.
Okay, therefore, that's the motion, so that's what we'll go with tonight. Okay, we'll go back to the current motion. All those in favor of moving it to January signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? That's passed. That one there is defeated. So we stick with November. 9B, I know it's kind of confusing. 9B, intersection of Main Street, Riverview Avenue, and Letite Road. I'm going to go to Councillor Lee for this.
okay. I move that council rescind the motion of September the 18th, 2024, to change the traffic pattern at the intersection of Main Street, Riverview Avenue, and Letite Road in St. George to a four-way stop.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Councillor Dederakis, thank you. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Dederakis?
Can I have the floor
Councillor-
first?
Okay.
Thank you.
I need eyes both ways. Councillor Lee, you're first.
Well, the reason I'd like to speak on this, I
Sure.
made the motion last month, and I'd just like to explain why I rescinded it. Over the past month, since we made this motion, I've had the opportunity to listen to a lot of public opinion on that intersection. And, you know, although everybody agrees that it is dangerous there and something should be done, the majority of the public are not in favor of something as aggressive as a four-way stop. And I respect that. That's why I'm rescinding the motion. And I do agree that four-way stops can be very confusing, especially for older people. So there was some suggestions of a light, traffic light, which is a great idea. So I asked our CAO, Jason, to do some pricing on that, and I was really astonished to find out that the price for that one intersection was $195,000 plus taxes, which would be around $225,000. And that's not including, I don't think, the sidewalks. There's three sidewalks there, or three crosswalks there, sorry, that have to be managed. So we'd probably be looking at $250,000 for one set of traffic lights, which is to me, unreasonable. So I don't think that I would entertain that. I can't speak for the council, of course, but so my, my thought process is that we will reconvene the Public Safety Committee, do some brainstorming, come up with some kind of a solution to slow the traffic down on that hill in a less aggressive manner, something that works but is not going to be something that's going to confuse everybody. So that's my reasoning for rescinding this.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Dedirakis, you're next.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of feedback since we passed this at the last council meeting. For the residents that were for it, I mean, they highlighted, which are points that I agree with, they highlighted their concerns with speeding down Main Street, with the blind spot just by the Catholic Church. And then for the other residents, the many residents that were against it, they highlighted their concerns, which I also agree with, which is, you know, it complicates driving. Not everyone really understands the rules of the road. Will they be able to navigate a four-way stop? So these are all legitimate concerns, right? So listen, like, I personally have witnessed many accidents at this intersection, and I've actually got into an accident at this intersection as well, and no, it was not my fault. And you know, since we passed this motion, it's actually the positive side of this is that we've been having conversations about it, and people have been telling me that they actually avoid this intersection entirely. So including myself. So instead of going down this intersection, they go down Clinch Street. Yeah, like it's been a concern for many years now, and now that the intersection is used by cars, by ATVs, by pedestrians, I don't think it's unreasonable to, you know, increase safety at this zone, right? So yeah, I support rescinding this, rescinding the last motion that we made at the last council meeting. But I think it's important that going forward, that we don't forget about this, that council investigates other ways to, you know, increase safety in this zone, you know, for the sake of public safety.
Great, thank you, Councillor Dedirakis. Any other questions or comments on the motion?
I got a comment.
Councillor Hatt.
I had an individual reach out to me last week, and it was kind of a funny haha. Do you know what a peaceful standoff is in Canada? A four-way stop.
Any other questions or comments for the?
Thank you for the comment, Councillor Hatt. One of many.
All those in favor of rescinding the motion of September the 18th, 2024, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Okay, new business tonight. We have the Patrick Connors Recreational Complex. I'm going to go to Councillor Hatt for him to make a motion here tonight.
So, where the Patrick Connors Recreation Complex facility is owned by the local government of Eastern Charlotte, and whereas the residents of all communities within Eastern Charlotte enjoy the services of this facility, and whereas the desire of council is to unify these communities by maintaining one identity throughout these boundaries, be it resolved, the name of the Patrick Connors Recreation Complex be changed to Eastern Charlotte Recreation Complex.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Councillor Tidd. Thank you. The motion was made by the ward councillor from Black Cyber and a former councillor of Black Cyber, Councillor Tidd, seconded that. Question or comment on the motion? No comments? Nothing? Go ahead, Councillor
Sure.
Jerry Rabbit.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit something. Like, I mean, I moved away and then I came back back in 2020. And I mean, it's been a long time. Up until 2 weeks ago, it was a really long time since I actually stepped foot back into the arena. 2 weeks ago, I actually went to my first time going to Kinderplay, which was hosted by the YMCA, which takes place at the arena. And it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like it was a feeling of like unity. I felt like, oh wait, this isn't a Black Harbor building. This actually is a building, a community center that belongs to everyone. And I think even though this might be like a small gesture, it actually, by changing the name, it actually is more impactful. It has a lot of meaning. So that's the reason why I'm going to support this.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? And That is done unanimously tonight. 10B, the Provincial Municipal Highway Partnership, PMHP, the 5-year plan. All council has that in front of them tonight, that plan. And I'm going to go to going to go to Jason first to talk about it first.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is the we used to be called the Municipal Designated Highway Program. So these are for provincial roads in the old municipal boundaries of Blacks Harbor and St. George. The Provincial Municipal Highway Partnership as well does go out to all of the other areas as well, the rural areas, but they are more or less looking for the old municipal boundaries. So this is a 5-year proposed priorities starting in 2027 to 2031. 2025, 2026, they've announced that, they've already made the announcement that any capital projects from DTIs are not going to be part of the program, that it will just be based off of, if there is some, if they do find some funds, and maybe then they'll bring some of these projects forward. So as of right now, the 2027, we show that Route 172, that's the Fundy Bay Drive, the main road going to Back Bay from the Latite Mascarene Road to the Old Town limits. I think anyone driving down to Back Bay and in that area on Deer Island knows that that road's in rough shape, so that's priority 1 for 2027. It's about 2 kilometers. 2028 is the Mount Pleasant Road intersection of Latite Road to Fundy High School, so there's a lot of curb and sidewalk reconstruction there that needs to be completed. And then Mount Pleasant Road, the Old Town limits, to the intersection of Latite Road down over the hill with paving of that road. So that will certainly complete that large section. Again, this doesn't include going down Poorhouse Hill towards Tim Hortons or anything. That would still be the province's jurisdiction. And then 176 in Blacks Harbor, the Ferryland approach. This year we're doing parts of 176, as I mentioned earlier, but this will be completing the Ferryland approach in 2030. So right now we just have 2031 that we'll be looking to update this plan as we go. This is always a living document. Each year you'll probably start to see this come back. Even next year as we start to change the estimated cost and we get a little bit closer to that year, we'll keep updating this and sending this off to the province. But I guess the main thing is just letting people know what are the priority of the provincially owned roads over the next 4 to 5 years, and certainly that Back Bay Road is priority 1.
Great. So at this point, I need a motion from council to agree to the proposed priorities for the Provincial Municipal Highway Partnership Program. Going to Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Dadarakis. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Number 10C, the bandstand at Adventure Lane. I'm looking for a motion from council to authorize the repairs to the bandstand at the Adventure Lane. I'm going to go to Jason first to talk about this.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, we'll be looking at withdrawing some of our allotted funds for St. George Capital towards the replacement of the bandstand at the Day Adventure Center. We had a couple of contractors look at that, and I believe the estimated was around $20,000 to do restructure that building, that structure, and put a new roof on it, and I think some new decking and steps on the front part of it. So that would be the request, is to allocate funds towards the bandstand at the Adventure Lane.
Great. So at this point, council, I'll go to you to look for a motion for that. Councilor Lee, you want to make that motion?
I move that council authorize repairs to the bandstand at the Adventure Lane for an estimated cost of $18,000.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Councilor Thompson. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 10D, consultation services. What's council's pleasure on this one? Councilor Tidd.
I move that council contact Porter O'Brien to discuss consultation options and costs with the option to engage in their services in 2025.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Deputy Mayor's first. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to correspondence tonight. There is none. Next is public presentation and appearances. Just want to go quickly over that. This is the point under the under bylaw EC-01, section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdiction. I ask that you begin by giving your name and civic address for the record, and also add that during this time that I cannot allow anybody to make accusations against anybody on any subject that works for Eastern Charlotte, any member of council, or anybody else for that matter. If that happens, I have to stop you. Here's our first, this is the first two people up gets to join the fire department.
It's all good. Remember last month I was here and asked about the signs? Well, then 2 days, you guys had it all looked after. Job well done.
Great, thank you very much. Nice to hear positive things, thank you. Raymond.
Raymond Hall, 108 Mount Pleasant Road. Just like to thank Adam for bringing that up for it to unite the whole community with the arena. I like the idea. It's a good suggestion and a good start. Thanks.
Thank you. Sam? No, nothing, no.
Sam's quiet?
Oh.
Something wrong here.
Ladies first, I guess.
My name's Karen Kernigan, and I live in 108 Latique Road, St. George.
Thank you for being here tonight, Karen.
Just wanted to say thank you for how nice the day adventure is coming along. The grass is all planted, looks lovely. And the bandstand's being fixed. That's a great asset for the town. I still hope that we plan to put some flowers and benches and stuff down there so we really enhance that area and I hope that you plan to leave some bleachers down there for people to sit around the bandstand, because we do, when it was usable, people did use those benches. I'm not saying they all need to be there, but it would be nice to have a little bit of seating of some sort for people. But we also bring lawn chairs and sit there, but I would like something there. And I think our problem in our town, all over the community, not the town, Eastern Charlotte, is speed. And it's that our law enforcement isn't enforcing our speed limits in our community. I was doing the back street a couple of weeks ago when I was driving the speed limit, and there was a car this far from my bumper. And by the time I got up to the stop sign by the Save Easy, he was swearing out the window, hollering, swearing. So we do have a problem in this town, and I don't see anybody around to stop it. So as a council, you guys can try to resolve all the issues you want, but we're paying for law enforcement. So I do think that our RCMP should be around our community more to slow the speed down. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Karen. I appreciate you coming in tonight. Anybody else? I know, Glenn, I saw you getting up at one point.
Glenn Hawkins, 346 Shore Road, Brittlebane. Side-by-sides on the roads. I know there's been a little bit of discussion about that over the years, and first of all, thanks for allowing the side-by-sides to go down Main Street as they are now. But when side-by-sides were allowed to go down Main Street, it also had some confusion. For instance, I'll use David Kernathan. Does David Kernathan really need to trailer his bike up Clinch Street to get to Main Street? There's tractors, there's trucks, there's scooters, horse and buggies, lots of things can use the roads. As long as you do, within the laws, et cetera, everybody's safe. So what I'd like council to consider in the future is consider the bylaw, and, if you look at things like scooters, my two boys had scooters when they were 14. There's roads they're not allowed on. For instance, they're allowed on any of the roads, but they can't go on the highway. So, I have a side-by-side, and, I don't want to drive down the Back Bay Road on my side-by-side. I don't want to go on the highway. But if I can go down Main Street, really, why can't I go down the lower road? And I don't think we want everybody putting their side-by-side on their trailer and trailering him to the front street and parking and leaving. But that's what the rules say we're supposed to do today. Anyway, thanks.
The deputy mayor made a note of that really quick. You do pretty good shorthand over there. Good evening.
Howdy. Paul Leland, 915 Masquerine Road.
Great to have you here
in
tonight, Paul. Thank you.
Caithness. My father was a cab driver before he left for the war, so I think this is where some of this comes from in me. The intersection we're talking about at four-way stop is actually called Chapel Corner. It'd be nice if we actually use some of those older names. Same as the road at the bottom of, as you said, Poorhouse Hill, which I think is a dirty word now. It's actually called McKay's Corner, so Mount Pleasant. And then the next one up is McLean's Corner. I was here back in June to put a proposal that in the future we start looking at the feasibility of traffic circles. And as I noted that day, traffic lights are very expensive to purchase, and they're just as expensive to operate. So that should be our very last option. I'm just wondering who we have to contact in order to get more information on traffic circles. Because the intersection at Chapel Corner is way large enough to have a traffic circle. If you go to Europe, there are traffic circles that are half the size of that, a quarter of the size of that. People slow down for traffic circles. It cures your problem a lot of the time. So who do we have to speak to? Is that something you have to go through the province? Is that something we can take on ourselves? That's just my question for that. So I think that's it for today. Thanks.
Great. Thanks for coming in tonight, Paul.
Oh, I knew he couldn't wait.
Counselor,
The study that was done on the two
I
intersections.
just need your name
Oh,
and address.
Sam Rubin, 33 Mount Pleasant Road.
I knew that, but I just had to ask.
I knew you had to. You wasted my time. Both these intersections, the study was done on it to improve safety. The province had to do, or in order to go to the province, the council had to do the study. Because these intersections are under the jurisdiction of the province, I believe, correct? Yes.
No.
Well, for some things. Designated highways, Mount Pleasant Road.
Main Street isn't.
Okay. So we done all that, and now we're not making any improvements.
Who said that?
Yeah,
Some, just wait, let me stop there.
Councilor Lee, I'll have to let.
So it's, you know, we've done some things, we've cut a few trees, it's helped. Every little thing helps. You don't need to be an expert to identify a problem. Over there, going to the right, over by the Irving, that's a danger spot. Coming down through the intersection, that's another danger spot. You know, it's, we spent $12,000 to do a study. There's not a lot of data on incidents on those intersections, either one of them, I don't believe. Speeding is definitely one problem, coming down in, even going out of town when you're sitting at those intersections. Left-hand turns on Chapel Corner, definite problem. Traffic circles, there's 31 pages to this report. It talks about traffic circles. It talks about the data of how many vehicles are going through it, how often they're stopped, how long they're stopped for. It said both intersections perform to acceptable levels. That said, I will say, Councillor, you and I have talked about it before, the four-way stop, it's quite a drastic change. And they did say about stopping the traffic going east and west and open up north and south. That would make a difference, all right, but I don't know how good it would work. You know, lights are one thing, a warning light before you come into the intersection, people may not even see it, but it might help. Certainly doing nothing is not going to help it. Doing something may help. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for coming, Sam. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Going once, twice, 3 times, that's it. We'll move ahead. Statements by members of council. I'll just start tonight. This is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Tomorrow, the 17th, businesses will have blue or purple lights in their businesses to raise awareness of the benefit of disability inclusion in the workplace. There will be a barbecue tomorrow Thursday at the Community Living Center on 124 Main Street, St. George, to help celebrate and raise awareness for National Disability Employment Awareness Month. I'm going to switch it up here, and I'm going to go to Councilor McKay first tonight for comments. Ladies first.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, Sam, before you said that about east and west, I was sitting here in my head thinking, well, if we could stop traffic going east and west and then take the stop signs out by the church and Riverview Avenue and maybe put yield signs or something, that might possibly help better, because at least it's going to slow the traffic coming into town. And Karen, I'm agreeing with you. I come out of Keith's the other day, and I was doing the speed limit, and somebody was on my bumper. And the traffic, the speed of the traffic coming through St. George is unbelievable. And not just St. George, it's everywhere. So definitely something has to be done, and if it's not being policed, then I don't know what can be done, right? So, and my other comment would be on the Day Adventure Center and the bandstand. I'm really pleased that we're going to fix that bandstand up, because there's a lot of people that love to have their music there in the summer, and like you said, it brings community together and it helps people get out and interact with one another. So I'm excited about the future of the Day Adventure Center, and council's throwing some ideas around on what can be done down there. And so, yeah, I'm very excited about that, and I want to thank everybody for coming out. Big crowd here tonight. Thank you.
Councilor Tidd.
I would like to thank everybody for coming also, and I would also agree with the lack of enforcement on speeding. I think we have a real issue within Eastern Charlotte, just not on speeding, but other issues that we need to have more enforcement on. I don't know how we fix that other than keep pressuring our service provider, which is the RCMP, for better service.
Councilor Lee.
First of all, thanks for all your comments. Just want to respond to a couple. The first one was the speed. We did have a meeting when we were up in Fredericton last weekend with the RCMP, the provincial commander of the force, and she assured us that they understand our issues, and that basically, and I stand to be corrected if I heard her wrong, but what I got from it was that they don't have enough members to do the jobs, and that she's actively working to get more members for everyone, including us. And apparently there's a bunch of new cadets coming out right away, and I think that, she's going to try to improve that for us. But right now, you're right, there is no enforcement on speeding. That's part of our problem with this Chapel corner. And I'm sorry if I didn't name that right, but the speed going down that hill. And as to respond to Sam's comments, we certainly are not going to just let this drop, Sam. Councillor Dadarakis reinforced the issues, and so did everybody we've talked to. This is not something that's new. When we go back to the Public Safety Committee and brainstorm again, there are some things we can do. And, signage doesn't work very well. But we can, there's things like rumble strips, just something to annoy people when they're going down the hill, so they do slow down, little things like that aren't really aggressive, so that, we're not jamming everybody to a stop there. So we will, I want to assure you that we're going to do something with it. What that's going to look like right now, I don't know, because that's going to be up to the committee and the council, so we will keep you posted. Thanks for coming in here tonight and not staying home to watch the provincial roundtable. Tells us that we're more important, and I really appreciate that.
Councilor McCory is sitting. I'm going to go to my deputy mayor next. You're good? That says you. Councilor Thompson.
There is a lot of money that has to go with that. I don't see where we can really afford to double tax our people. The Regional Service Commission, they have an allotment of money that is for economic development. We should utilize that money long before we tax ourselves again. Thank you.
Councillor Hatt.
56 weeks, water in Black Harbor. I hope that there's a schedule that's gone out. I know it went out to council. It'd be nice to see that go out to the residents of Black Harbor so they know. I know our mayor was able to post it on his personal Facebook page, which is great. Don't understand why Eastern Charlotte can't put a post out to give that same information so it's official. I'm hoping that it will continue and move along, but another month from council has come and gone, and other than a plan, there hasn't been any course of action change that I can see yet. I know my water's still just as brown, and I know as of today on Facebook, there's comments going around as well, so 56 weeks.
Councillor Dederekis. I left the best for last, you know.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I want to take a moment quickly, based on what Councillor Lee just said, actually, it's a good segue, and to remind everyone that we are on the doorstep of a provincial election. Voting day is October 21st, and I just want to remind everyone how important this election is for our municipality. So when I say things like, this isn't the municipal mandate, this doesn't fall into the municipal mandate, or this is a provincial responsibility, I'm not saying it because I want to pass the buck. I'm not saying it because I like the sound of my voice. I'm saying it because it's true. There are responsibilities that the province is responsible for, and we as the municipality have very little say in when that actually happens. So now is a good time to consider who you're going to be voting for. So if social services, healthcare, infrastructure are important to you, if they're among your concerns, you need to reach out to your provincial candidate and let them know. Ask them what their future plans are for helping our community, and see if ultimately their vision aligns with yours, their future, I should say. And I mean, we ultimately need whoever's going to be the MLA. We need representation that is going to be willing to work for a unified provincial municipal partnership. So whoever we elect as our MLA, whether they're liberal, conservative, who are they, libertarian, NDP, green, anything in between, we need to ensure that they're speaking up for our municipality and our unique set of needs. It's worth our time to try and get it right and to make sure our future MLA knows that our community is not one that wants to keep quiet. Thank you.
I'll just add to that. As you know, at the first of the meeting tonight, I talked about Remembrance Day, and we talked about the ones that fought for our country. The reason why we're able to go vote is because of the people that fought for our country. So everybody should get out to vote because it means a lot. It meant a lot to them. They put their lives on the line, and a lot of them paid the ultimate price. Date and location of the next regular meeting of council is November the 20th, right here at Macadavic Place at 7 p.m. Again, I want to thank CHCO for being here tonight, and again, Amy Carter for doing a great job, and for being here tonight and taking the minutes. At this point, I'll look to Councillor McKay for a motion of adjournment. Is that right? Okay, Councillor McKay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.